here outside the Circuit Court in Castlebar for the sentencing hearing of Peter O'Malley, the HSE manager who was found guilty of child pornography. This morning, Mr. O'Malley received a sentence of 9 years, 9 months from Judge Owen Garvin. This was brought down then through mitigation to 6 years, with the last 9 months suspended. In 2021, the FBI in America sent information to An Garda Síochána about Mr. O'Malley's activity on an app relating to
Kick app, yes.
The Kick app relating to child pornography. Following that information, the Gardaí received a warrant to search Mr. O'Malley's house. Several devices were seized, and on those devices, 90,000 pornographic images were found by Gardaí. 259, I believe, of which were to do with child pornography, and over 60 of those images were in the most serious category of child pornography. Mr. O'Malley was the administrator of this app. Child abuse material would be sent to Mr. O'Malley, which he would then review before considering whether that person could become a member of this app.
Now, I understand that Mr. O'Malley, an employee of the HSE, set up the vaccine centres here in Castlebar that would be 2020, and also in Roscommon. It's important for us, going to cast our votes on Friday, it's important for us to remember COVID and the state our country was brought to at that time. Simon Harris being the Minister for Health until June 2020, where thousands of the most vulnerable in society in nursing homes and hospitals, HSE, were treated inhumanely, denied of dignity and rights. And as one TD outside Dáil Éireann said to me, but obviously was afraid to say it inside the chamber, he said they were treated like animals, and we know that. You wouldn't do it to an animal, he said. I remember going through that vaccine centre, driving through it in McHale Road. I was shouted at, I was shaking, verbally abused when I got to the other end. I just wanted to drive through. I wasn't getting a vaccine. I drove through. I was threatened. I was shouted at. And that's the way we were treated as a nation. No respect, rights taken from us. They died like animals in Mayo University Hospital. Yes. Maria Lyons came on Midwest. She said we went to the COVID wards. We didn't know what happened then. We didn't know whether they were alive or dead. And that is a disgrace to our nation. Let's not forget that as we go to Catherine Donoghue, the general manager of Mayo University Hospital, issued a directive March 2020, a gagging directive. Not one of those staff, 1,200, could speak about hospital business. This was revealed to a county councillor in Westport by 2 staff in there. They were gagged. It was on the ticket of the media after that. We wrote to Rose Conway Walsh, Caleri and Alan Dillon and others, and we may as well have been talking to the wall.
No response.
No response, no interest. Actually, Rose Conway Walsh said that we were nobody was interested in listening to us. We stood on the street for 2 years. I'm very proud of that. And thank God for the thousands and the hundreds of people we helped. We helped. And every single day, sleet, snow, rain, every week, I should say, we were on that street encouraging the people to ask the questions, not to be afraid when they went up to Mayo University Hospital and when their loved ones were locked away, dying without dignity, without a religious guide, without a family, without a friend. Let's not forget that as we go to the polls. I'm proud of my daughter, Jemima Burke, who went into that hospital day after day and fought for patients, got them off the ventilators, questioned the drugs they were given. One young girl in particular who was sent home, taken off her medication, sent home, and when she was in excruciable pain, had to be brought back, put into a COVID ward, even though she tested negative, where she died. We went to the guards, we asked them to investigate. They wouldn't do that. At her inquest, Pat O'Connor didn't even call in key witnesses. I'm saying all this very quick. Evidence suppressed. We got nowhere. And I do thank God for my daughter, Jemima. Many lives were saved. I know one in particular, a man who was on a ventilator for 3 months. They told him he would be a vegetable. They told the family they were wasting time. They were using up their time. He was going to die. He would be brain dead. He was a vegetable. And she fought for that man. She fought for him. She intervened. She questioned him. She stood for him. She asked what medication he was on. He's back today at his work, alive and well. And that man would thank my daughter Jemima for saving his life. I could tell you stories. I could tell you tons of... We got no help from the politicians. Any of them, even the independents, were now taking the glory for what happened in the hospital and all they did for the hospital. None of those politicians would ask for an inquiry into the gagging order. In effect, what happened before the first lockdown, Catherine Dunne said that there would be secrecy around what happened inside the walls of that hospital, and there was. And not one of the politicians would ask for an inquiry into that, why it had to be secret. And, you know, if they had, many people would be alive today who are dead, who are in the cemetery. And I would say shame on every one of you. Shame on you, politicians. Shame on you. We need to hold them accountable. Remember what they did when you go to the polls. And afterwards, hold them accountable. Just to sum it all up, Simon Harris was the Minister for Health at that first lockdown, March to June. He denied the rights to the elderly. He denied dignity to those who died in nursing homes and in hospitals. They were put in black bags from there to the coffin, and their loved ones at windows looking in at them, taking their last breath. This is an abomination. And I would say shame on you, Simon Harris. I do believe you're a dangerous man. Yes, I do believe you're a dangerous man. And you know, Simon vowed that he would pass the hate speech bill before the election. Thanks be to God, you were restrained from doing that. I believe he's a dangerous man. I believe we should remember this as we go to the polls.
And just to remind people again, the pornography in this case was of an extremely graphic nature. The court heard that it involved children from the ages of 3 years and above, and that in some of the videos and the photographs, children were visibly distressed, screaming and crying. This is the most depraved nature.
Yes, Judge Garvin said in here today that it bordered on torture.
Yes.
Very graphic, very explicit, very cruel. The worst I've ever heard in my life.
By
an employee of the HSE.
HSE manager.
They're the people we had to bow down to all the years of COVID. They're the people who locked us out. They're the people who left the elderly to die.
And this
Shame on
was
them.
happening. This man was engaging in this behaviour and activity at the time when he was heavily involved in this COVID testing centre here in Castlebar, and that's extremely serious.